Hello everyone, I'm Meryl and I'm going to deliver the post-debate analysis for round 2 of NUDC 2020. So on round 2, we talk about economy. With the motion reads, this house would heavily restrict market-dominant startups, for example like Traveloka, Gojek, Tokopedia, and etc., from developing business branches, for example like Traveloka Eats, Go Entertainment, Danapala, and etc., that are not in the same field with their core product or service types. So there are two questions that I would like to discuss on this video. The first is why the development of dominant market startup business branches are harmful. Second of all, I'm going to discuss about what are the interests of the government and does heavily restrict market dominant startups to developing different business branches aligned with that particular interest. So let's move to the first question. Why the business branches of market dominant startups are harmful, right? In government team, you can enter the debate by saying that currently there is a rising trend of startups developing into different branches that are completely different with their original business. For example, Traveloka that start as a travel agent startups. I mean, like Traveloka is an application which provides service to buy plane ticket and then train ticket and etc. But now they're currently developing Traveloka Eats, in which it is an application that provides review for restaurants and makes you able to book or getting promos from that particular restaurant, which is a completely different business model than the original Traveloka, right? So these developments are dangerous in nature. Understand that market dominant startups is already established. They already have a strong branding, which makes their newly developed branches easier to gain trust and popularity from the society and create monopoly. So for example is Gojek and Go Play or Go Entertainment. Because Gojek is already an established company with so many customers and it's already very popular as well, it's easier for we as a consumer to try or to use Go Play or Go Entertainment because we already know that the mother company or the original company is Gojek, which is trusted and already big and established. So it's easier for Go Play to grow and gain new customers. It is of course a different case is if, for example, a new startup came out of nowhere, even though they're maybe providing the same service as GoPlay, it will not be that easy for them to gain new customer because people would question who is this company, where they came from. People will be more hesitant to use this kind of service. But since GoPlay have Gojek to back them up, it's easier for society to put their trust in this newly developed branch. And of course, it's easier for Gojek to create monopoly. And then the second of all, market dominant startup already have an abundant amount of investment and human resources, make them able to provide promos, predatory prices that trigger consumerism from society. This abundant investment and human resources cannot be undermined because with the abundant investment and human resources, there are a lot of things that these startups can do to attract consumer to actually use or try their products. So for example, because they have an abundant amount of human resources, they can, for example, invent a captivating UX design or put gamification inside their application that makes society even more interested to use their product and make the society more consumeristic, which is it's very harmful because of course we want society that are wise on spending their money and not actually buying or using their money for things that are not necessarily important for them, right? In opposition side of the house, one of the approach that you can try for this debate is talking about market integration. The reasons why business branches of market dominant startups are not that harmful or even not harmful at all is because it actually promotes market integration, which is good because it makes a one-stop shopping place. Business branches of market dominant startups are very beneficial for the society because it provides society with a lot of options and society will have access to various products with a cheaper price and shorter amount of time to spend to consume that particular product. It might be true that to a certain extent it triggers consumerism, but it's okay because it's a productive consumerism. What do I mean by this? I mean is that, for example, Traveloka and Traveloka Eats, right? It enable people to buy airplane ticket and then at the same time, through the same application, So this person doesn't have to waste extra time, just like simply use one application, and that is Traveloka, to choose and book restaurant faster. So you get plane ticket, but then at the same time you found a place to eat. It saves you a lot of time, and this time that you used to spend on searching for restaurants, searching for reviews, and so on, can be allocate to a more productive things. For example, like because you already know where you wanted to eat and you already have your plane ticket, you can, you know, allocate your time for conducting a meeting, or for example, continue your projects, and so on and so on. So like the consumer, it's true that to a certain extent society might be more consumeristic, but it's actually okay because it's still productive anyway. So move on to the second question. What are the interests of government, and does restrict market dominant startups align with this particular interest, right? So government, of course, aim to protect the most vulnerable actor from society, right? Heavily restrict will limit the capability of these market dominant startups to monopolize the market, providing predatory prices, promotions, and thus results into two things. Number one is the chances for newly developed startups to grow and trigger more economic development from variety of businesses, because in comparison is that if you allow, for example, Traveloka or Gojek to just develop different branches of businesses, then most likely what will happen is market domination with one, two, or maybe just three big companies exist. But by actually restricting these market dominant startups, you are allowing small businesses to grow, thus providing more job fill for the society, more equal distribution of wealth as well. So that is actually good, and that is actually the interest of the government. But second of all, restricting this market dominant startup to grow into a different business branches that are completely different from their original business is actually also good, because it's protecting the society, reducing the amount of advertisement, promotion, and promos or predatory prices that are directed to the society. Does it makes the society even more rational on their spending? Because now, yeah, for example, when you open Traveloka, then yeah, you simply buy an airplane ticket and that's it. In comparison, in opposite side of the house, you might open Traveloka for buying an airplane ticket, but then I see Traveloka it's I might need to book a restaurant. Meanwhile, you actually not, right? So wiser spending is more likely to happen under the government side of the house. In comparison, under opposition side of the house, government aim to promote development in economy as well as promoting convenience for the society. Heavily restrict market dominant startups to develop other business branches will only limit the development of businesses and job market for the society. Economic development can only happen significantly when market dominant startup is allowed to grow, because yeah, they will provide more jobs opportunity in each branches, yeah, more people getting wage, more income from the society that create partnership with the market dominant startups, and so on and so on. But what are actually the different, right? It seems like both teams can argue that, yeah, they will provide job. Opposition can come in and argue what makes us different with the government side of the house is that understand that we already market dominant startup. It means that we already established, we have an abundant amount of investment. The moment when we provide a job, it will be so much more in quantity, because we're a big company. Of course, when we open new branches, it's most likely going to be bigger as well. So we will absorb more people, but exactly because we also have more investor, more likely we will have a decent wage, a better wage for the employee, so that even though maybe both side of the house can offer job vacancy, but the job vacancy in the opposition side of the house is significantly better. Like that is the kind of thing that you cannot argue. Or for example, you can also argue that the market dominant startups that create different branches can actually be beneficial for people that are creating partnership with them, right? Because if government side of the house trying so hard to argue about consumerism, then what you need to know about consumerism is one person outcome is another person income. That is to say that if one person spend more money on a restaurant, that is actually healthy for the economy, because it means that the money will flow to more people, right? To the restaurant owner, to the employee of that restaurant. So actually, it is a good thing, right? But second of all, not only talking about economy, we can also talk about like the society convenience on using app or in using application, right? So versus on the government side, since these market dominant startups are now unable to develop branches because we heavily restrict them on government side of the house, they will focusing on improving their original business and providing a better quality service for the society, right? Because when they're unable to develop new branches, then they have no choice but to focus on their current business and make it big so that they don't lose their customer, right? So for example, instead of busy developing Traveloka Eats, now Traveloka have to focus on improving their service. So for example, instead of busy developing Traveloka Eats, now they can improve the quality of their customer service or providing a faster refund system, for example, to maintain the number of customer and to maintain their profit as well. Second of all, on the opposition side of the house, they can say that when market dominant startup is allowed to grow and develop different business branches, it will trigger stronger market competition, which result into various kind of innovation which benefit the customer. I have two examples on this. Number one is what's on the screen, that now we not only have Grab and Gojek, we also have InDriver, a ride-sharing app that allows the customer to propose the price for the driver instead of using the price that being set by the company, which means that, again, there's an innovation in payment in the way in which the society pay their product. Like now the society can have the right to propose the price instead of being set up by the company. And it's, of course, very beneficial for the society, right? But the second example that I would like to elaborate on this PDA as well is that when we talk about startups, there will always be a strong competition, and it's actually good, right? Because back then, if government side of the house wanted to argue about the debt of small startups, or how government wanted to argue that, yeah, we provide chances for smaller startup to grow, opposition side of the house can also argue the same thing by saying that startups competition will always be there, and there's no such thing as a market dominant startups that will last forever, because competition is so active, and smaller startups will always have the chance to grow. For example, is Gojek, right? Gojek started as a small startup as well against a giant ride-hailing app such as Uber in Indonesia, right? But the fact that Gojek managed to continuously innovate and grow so that they can gain more investment, and now even they able to be one of the biggest startups in Indonesia, prove that when it comes to startups world, smaller startups will always have the chance. But the problem is whether or not they actually able to innovate or grow themselves. So that is all for the PDA. Hope it helps. And yeah, good luck for the next round.